see The Nun yesterday. So, I just went and saw The Nun last night, the latest installment in the Conjuring's cinematic universe, and it was actually alright. So this one, if you don't know, is the origin story of Valak, the nun that appears in The Conjuring 2 and actually gives us a few good scares too. So if you're watching this, you probably already know what The Nun is, but to sum up really quick, The Nun's set in Romania during the 50s, and it's about this portal to hell that opens. Here comes another fucking plane. So if you're watching this, you probably already know what The Nun is about, but to sum up really quickly, The Nun's set in Romania during the 50s, in an abbey more specifically, and it's about this curse that gets let out during World War II when the Germans or the Allies bomb the shit out of everything. So what did I think about it? It's definitely better than Annabelle. I actually enjoyed it for what it was. As is always with James Wan films, you know, the filmmaking is competent. Miles better than Saw was, anyway. But the Conjuring filmmaking is always really competent. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked watching it. The way that it was shot was great. Another thing James Wan does really well is linking everything back to the actual Conjuring universe. There's one sequence in particular though, which I think didn't need to be in, and that was the very first sequence. Spoilers, by the way, just in case you didn't get that already. So there's a sequence at the beginning of the film, which is basically like previously on The Conjuring, just to contextualize the film. And I get it, but I feel like anybody that's seen The Conjuring is going to see The Nun. I don't feel like anybody would go to see The Nun if they haven't seen The Conjuring already, because, well, they wouldn't know what the fuck is the point in all of it. Yeah, I just don't think it needed to be there, honestly. There's a sequence at the end of the film which I did actually feel needed to be in, which is similar to that of the opening, linking it back to the other Conjuring films, which is actually a sequence featuring Maurice, or Frenchie, from The Nun, where he's been possessed, and it's about his possession and exorcism, which links everything back to the very first Conjuring, which I kind of feel that was justified. But to be like, hey, there's a nun, and we've seen it, and here's a painting of it, and yep, I don't think that needed to be in. So, what does The Nun, in my opinion, do well? I think the inciting incident at the beginning was really good. That opening few minutes before The Nun title card comes up, where you get the atmosphere gets set, the tone gets set. There's a lot of smoke on the floor because horror, and yeah, that pretty much kicks off the film because that's its job. Max, aye. Why did I bring my dog? It's a man. A bird just shit. I feel like I'm in danger standing here. So in regards to suspense in modern horror, I kind of feel like it doesn't exist anymore. I feel like everything's just jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. And The Nun nearly changed that, because in The Nun, there's a good few long takes, and in these long takes, that's where the suspense is built up. There's very little soundtrack during these bits too, which builds up to the scare. Those were done well, but I don't feel like the take was done long enough, or that the suspense was, you know, pulled enough to where it would be like nail biting before the payoff. It's more of akin to, kind of, I don't fucking know. Yeah, so like I was saying before, like a massive issue with modern horror is jump scare with no build up, no suspense. There's no like actual fear kind of hanging around there. And The Nun, to be fair, isn't really an exception. It's full of jump scares. In fact, the marketing campaign for The Nun prided itself on the fact that it uses jump scares. During the marketing campaign, one of the adverts got pulled because it was like a volume bar and then like a big jump scare, and The Nun, or the marketing team behind The Nun, prided itself on the fact that it got pulled. And it's like, the advert didn't get pulled because it was scary. The advert got pulled because it was a jump scare. Out of nowhere. That rhymed. And therein lies the problems with the scenes that feature Valak. Because most of the scenes that feature Valak only feature jump scares. One of the things that they do is recycle the whole shadow sequence from The Conjuring 2. You know, where Valak goes around the walls and then into the picture that's on the wall. Now, in The Conjuring 2, that's an actually really suspenseful sequence. She moves slowly and she stops at the picture, and we get what is a scary scene. In The Nun, what happens is she walks around the wall until it gets to a mirror, and the white nun is facing said mirror, and Valak appears behind the white witch. Behind the white nun, and she turns around. My God, she's not there. She turns back, and there's Valak in the mirror. And do you know what the scare is? Valak screaming and the mirror exploding. Gee, wasn't that really scary? To be fair, in this film, which is kind of disappointing because the entire film was about Valak, most of the scenes that featured Valak involved just screaming in some way, just her going at people, and that's not scary, like, not at all. You know, when was the last time your mate went in your face and you went, huh, you got me, that was scary, you know? Or did you go, mate, fuck off? Because that's kind of the vibe that you get with Valak's scares, is more of a fuck off vibe. You maybe also noticed there that I called her the white nun, not the white witch. That didn't happen. But the reason that I called her the white nun is because I don't actually remember her name at all. I don't remember it. I remember the name of Frenchie and Father Anthony, two characters that weren't even the main character. This white nun was meant to be the main character, but she's so one-dimensional and boring. Like, Frenchie and Father Anthony actually have kind of like semi-interesting character arcs. Father Anthony's is that he performed exorcism on a 9-year-old, and they died because they were too, eager to exorcise this child, and they died. Whoops. Frenchie's is that he thinks he's destined to stay in Romania, and that he can help everybody. Then when he realizes that he can't, he just helps Father Vincent and the white nun to get out of the abbey, and that's it. And then he's like, I'm gonna go back to France and be a tomato farmer. The white nun's arc is, oh, what, you want me to go to Romania? I don't know Romania. I haven't even taken my vows. I would like to take my vows. Okay, now I've taken my vows. Whoops, I got possessed. DM, I'm fine. And scene. So yeah, another thing with Frenchie is he's kind of a bit of a pussy. And then he actually grows a pair and goes back to the abbey with a shotgun and an axe, and it's badass and it's cool. They kind of play on the whole Father Anthony killed a 9-year-old kind of thing a little bit too much, in my opinion. Like, that's his primary scares, this curse, because it can take like a number of forms. Valak's the main one, and then it takes loads of different forms. The main one for Father Anthony is, oh, look at me, I'm a boy, here I come. And then he gets buried alive at one point. It's actually quite a good scene. Anyway, the last point that I'm going to make, and also my biggest point, is I would have been more scared going into this film if I hadn't seen any of the trailers. Now, it was kind of unavoidable, because I don't watch TV, but it was all over YouTube. Right? It was all over that, all of the ads, unskippable, whatever. And every single advert contained at least one of the scares from the film. Like, I would say like an easy 60% of the scares that appear in the film were in the trailers. And scares don't work if you know the payoff. Like, it's all about the build-up and then the payoff. Maybe like one or two of the scares that were in the film really caught me off guard. But, fucking hell. Like, don't put the scares in the trailer, because it ruins the scares. I don't know who the fucking marketing team are, but, like, the door scare, the corridor scare, I knew it was coming because I'd seen the trailer, and I could sit in the cinema and go, because I knew it was gonna be loud. It's gonna be really loud, and I could defend from it, and there was no scare. The person that I went with didn't jump either. They had seen the trailers, and that's the thing. That's what ruins it. If you're gonna do a horror trailer, be creative about it, and if you're not gonna do that, go away, because you ruin the film. So, on that note, I am going to give this film a 5 out of 10. It is enjoyable. I would say watch it if you're interested in the Conjuring cinematic universe. Definitely go and watch it in the cinema. I don't think it's going to have as much an impact, you know, like if you're watching it on the TV at home. Or if you do that, watch it with headphones on. And don't watch any of the trailers. Don't look at any of them. If you already have, well, whoops, still go and see it. But you just, the trailers really ruined this one. I haven't actually really watched any of the other Conjuring trailers, and that's why the films had such an impact on me. Just go and see it, but fucking trailers, man. They fucking ruin films these days. They're so shit. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go home now, because I just thought it would be a good idea to film this in the woods, because spoopy. Fucking, I don't know. So thanks very much for watching. I'm probably going to go and review more films that I see in the cinema, because I'm going to go and see a few, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to go and see a few more films quite soon. So Predators, or Predator, The Predator, which is the new one that's coming out. What else am I going to go and see? Just keep posted, whatever. Like, you can subscribe if you want, you can like the video if you enjoyed it. It's my first time trying anything like this, and it's kind of fun just to rant to a camera for a little bit about films, because it's fun, and I want to make a horror someday, and I sure as shit ain't gonna market it like they did in The Conjuring, because they ruined it. Right, I'm off. Cheers.
Come on then, dogs. Come on.